Welcome back to another edition of Fly Tying for Beginners. Today we're going to tie a Hemingway golden stone. The hook I have in the vise is a size 8, and this is a 4 extra long streamer hook. I'm going to start by putting some weight on there because we want our stoneflies on the bottom. I'm going to use 30 thousandths lead wire. I'm going to put about 15 wraps on there, I guess. Yep, got about 18 on there. Somewhere around there is fine. Break off this back section. Going to use this burnt orange thread, and this is 70 denier. Start it behind or in front of the lead wraps and go back. And put several wraps in back of it. You want to kind of build up a bit of a ramp there. And bring that thread back to where it would hang at the barb. Going to put the tail on first, and I'm going to use tan Goose Biots. And we're going to use that natural curve. And we want this to be about half the length of the hook shank. Put the one on my side first, and make that a little bit longer even. Whoop. Get that under control there. Go ahead and tie all of that down. That last big chunk there, that was a piece of the stem from the Goose Biot. They usually come off this size. Use that natural curve once again. Measure that up to what I have. Tie that in. Got a nice separation there. I'm going to tie in a rib. This is extra fine copper wire. I'm going to tie that in on the side, but closer to the bottom. Now I'm going to bring my thread all the way up forward. I'm going to tie the legs in at this point. Our legs, we're using golden color, Hemingway soft rubber legs. These are Stonefly legs, and you can see there's like a channel there. You put that right on that, right on those lead wraps, and you want to keep the first set of legs about at the front of the lead wraps. These rubber legs come two in a, they're two together. They're connected, so when you cut them, you want to leave a little bit of a tab in the front, and you want to keep those first legs, like I said, on top of that lead wrap. We're going to just go ahead and palmer back, get a wrap or two in between each set of legs, and there's a big section on the back. We're going to tie that down. We're going to wrap that in pretty good. Now we're going to take the golden stonefly body parts. This is Hemingway's wing, bud, and back for the stonefly. Going to take the abdomen section, and you see there's a white part on there, so you have to, when you get, after you do a couple, you'll know on the back side that you can't see where the white part is. You'll know where that white part ends, which is basically just a little bit forward of the rounded off section. Go ahead and tie them in. Now I have a natural color. This is Awesome Possum. You could use any hair blend. or even if you want, you can use superfine. I like the hair blend. And we're going to make a tapered noodle with our dubbing. We want it pretty skinny at the very back. And we're going to build that thicker as we go towards the rear. When you're building it thicker, doesn't necessarily mean that you want to put a big clump on there. You still want it relatively thin, because if you try to put a big clump on there, you're going to have lumps on your thread instead of a nice noodle. And I'm going to do about 7 inches of this, 6 or 7 inches of a noodle here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this. And you want to look at the bottom part. That's the important part. You don't want to make any spaces in there. And when you hit that lead, of course, you're going to start getting that taper. You don't want it real fat at this point, but you want it to start tapering up. And you want to get that dubbing right to those legs there. So I didn't quite make it all the way to the front of them. I'm going to put a little bit, pinch more. Like I said, you could always add more. I'm going to wrap that in. We got nice coverage right through those legs. Yep. I'm going to take that body, and it's sticky. It's a sticker. We're going to fold that over. And I'm going to take the rib, and I'm going to counter wrap it. And this way, if you counter wrap it, bring it underneath and over, underneath and away from you, what's going to happen is if you move the back, it's going to move towards you, so you can monitor it a lot easier to get it to stay in place. We're just going to palmer that up. You see, when I pull it, I'm going to be pulling it towards me instead of pushing it away, and I can monitor it a little bit easier if I do a counter wrap on it. And I'm going to take that wire, I'm going to continue wrapping the wire, and I'm open palmer. Watch you don't make the legs move, and you want to bring it up just in front of the middle set of legs. Just put an extra wrap in there. Now I'm going to bring my thread forward once again, and I'm going to secure that wire. Couple wraps in front, couple wraps in back, and we're going to basically lock it in right between that set of legs. We're going to take our thread all the way up to the eye once again. Make a nice taper there, nice ramp. Now we're going to take our wing bud, and there's a head on there. There's even eyes on these. We're going to tie them in, and once again there's that white on there, and that white goes about 1/8 of an inch past the eyes. I'm not real choosy on that very end there. Put a couple wraps on there, and that looks like it's going to be pretty good. Now we have to bring our thread back and continue dubbing. And here it's fatter, but you still want a healthy size noodle. Get that wire out of my way. I'm going to look at the bottom side. Like I said, it's more important to look at to watch the bottom for what you're doing than the top. They're rubber legs, so you can adjust them if you pull them a little bit. Tighten up that noodle there. I need a little bit more. Put a little bit of dubbing over it. Bring that up. There you go. Like I said, you want that bottom is the part you're concentrating on. And we're going to take that, we're going to pull it up. Don't pull too hard because it will break. I'm going to wrap a little bit of a head here. Got a little speck of white there. We'll just wrap that in. Make sure that's centered. Now I'm going to take a little bit of head cement. You can use super glue on this, but be careful, you only want a little bit. I'm going to put some head cement on the back side of my wing case. And I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to put the rib, I'm going to put right behind that first body part. I'm going to softly put it on there. Get that down to the bottom. And I'm going to kind of hold that in place because you could pull it and then tighten it. We'll give it 2 tight turns. And then we're going to bring this right up to the front and put a couple of wraps there around the head. Give it at least 1. This is kind of a small wire. We're going to tie that in. Go ahead and break that wire off if I could. Can't grip it very good. There we go. Tie down that head. Gonna go ahead and give this a whip finish. Tug that tight. Trim that off. Now on the bottom, you can see that extra fine wire, so I'm going to take my dubbing brush and I'm going to just dub the thorax area. And that will pretty much hide that wire in your thorax. Now, because the legs are that gold color, I want to dirty them up a little bit. I'm going to just take the card that they come on. I'm going to take a black permanent marker. Just going to dirty them up a little bit. Now you kind of want to get some spots on there, and then you can touch them with your finger. You can see them get dirty. And here we have the Hemingway Golden Stonefly. Hope that you learned something from this video. Hope that you would subscribe to my channel. Please support my sponsors. Leave comments, questions, suggestions, and most of all, thank you very much for watching my videos.